The most important thing to come out of the settlement of the Writers Guild of America strike isn't pay or working conditions, it's artificial intelligence. And it's not important just for the members of the union or even for all writers. It's important for all knowledge workers and perhaps even all workers. That's how big an impact artificial intelligence might have unless we take a close, hard look at it, as the negotiators of the Guild did, and make sure that we understand what it is and what's happening with it and what we want from it. It's hard to encapsulate all of the issues surrounding artificial intelligence, but I came across a few different articles that helped me put it all together. One from the New York Times, one from the Atlantic Monthly, and one from the Associated Press. First off, what did the Writers Guild accomplish in its negotiations about artificial intelligence? Well, it did something very big and very important that's kind of conceptual, and that is it moved artificial intelligence from being what it's called on the tin, artificial intelligence, into what it really is, which is a tool, sophisticated, complicated, possibly powerful and helpful, that a writer can use in creating what they create. It would be not that dissimilar from construction workers finally being able to tell management that the backhoes they use, or the steam shovels, or the earth movers can't be counted as workers. And not just because they don't want them taking their jobs, but because they're not workers. They're not sophisticated enough yet to be able to take over that job. So that's what the Writers Guild was able to do. What they said was that there is a precedent that an employer's use of AI can be a central subject of bargaining, not something that management has control over, and not something that is essentially a synthetic writer. It is a subject of bargaining. It can be brought up at any time if the members of the Guild want to say, okay, we're not talking about wages today, we're not talking about working conditions today, we're not talking about minimums today, we're talking about AI, and that's enough to open a contract negotiation. I'm going to continue. It further establishes the precedent that workers can and should have a say in when and how they use artificial intelligence at work. It creates an entirely new and clear definition of what artificial intelligence is. Because the way people have been talking about it, it was sort of like, get ready to obey your robot gods. And that's not only inaccurate, it's not even sort of fair to AI. That's not what it is. That's not the nature of it. Okay, I'm going to continue. Moreover, the language in this agreement can serve as a model for other workers and employees, union and non-union, who agree that neither an outright ban nor unchecked use of AI would be a sensible way forward. Now, this very clearly states what writers have, I think, always known once they sort of got over the initial fear of it all, which is we're not saying artificial intelligence can't be used. We're not saying don't put robots on the assembly line. We're saying let's make sure we know what they can do, that they're going to do it safely, that we will have ultimate control over them, and that we can help to make them do their jobs better. In this way, the negotiations that the Writers Guild successfully completed have changed the course of the battleship. Artificial intelligence is another wonderful tool that is in the process of developing to a point where it will be almost invisible. It will be a constant companion. It will be something that will be very helpful, and if we keep an eye on it, won't become yet another creator of unintended consequences, like so many other things in society. Now, what could those unintended consequences be? One article gives us an example. There are 183,000 books fueling the biggest fight in publishing and tech. There's a thing called Books 3. Books 3. What a tidy, cute little name. Books 3 represents a database into which has been chopped and poured the contents of 183,000 books, creating a huge database that really has no demarcations. You can't tell, well, where one book begins and the next ends. It's not organized in any way. The artificial intelligence computing chip does all of that on the fly. I'll continue. These authors spent years thinking, researching, imagining, and writing, and had no idea that their books were being used to train machines that could one day replace them. Meanwhile, the people building and training these machines stand to profit enormously. Now, this is just fact. Technologists do what they can do until someone tells them either to keep doing it or to stop doing it. And if it's on the internet, these people say, then it's fair game. So they scanned a whole bunch of books, fed all of that creativity into one hopper, and now Books 3 allows artificial intelligence, along with other files, to basically rearrange, extract, boil down, whatever word you want to use, that creativity. That's what AI does. And it's been going on. These machines and models didn't come out of nowhere. It's been going on for years. I'll continue. Many people have written about bias in AI systems. An AI-based face recognition program, for example, that's trained disproportionately on images of light-skinned people might work less well on images of people with darker skin with potentially disastrous outcomes. Now, it's no longer potentially. There already have been disastrous outcomes. I read another article more recently in which not a text artificial intelligence algorithm, but an image-based one, was asked to create images of traditional medicine African doctors helping white children in an attempt to turn the stereotype upside down. It couldn't do it. I mean, the closest it came to was still pretty weird. Why couldn't it do it? It's intelligent artificially. Well, because the huge database it had to glom onto is us. And we don't see things outside of stereotypes when it comes to large numbers. Stereotypes, preconceptions, biases, they rule us, especially when we're talking about large populations. You can't blame the AI, that's all it has to go on. The universe, as it knows, it is what we've been doing on the internet. I hope you feel a little embarrassed now. I know I do. These are the kinds of things that could continue to happen and exponentially increase if we don't take a hard look at these things. More bias, more misapprehension of AI as sentient or as something deserving of rights or even as something that is truly creative. We're not there yet. I'm not saying we can't be one day, but that's where we are with AI. We are at an inflection point. If we do what the Writers Guild was able to successfully do, and my hat's off to them, then we can start looking with more clear eyes at what AI really is. And you, as a worker, may benefit from that, especially if you have the same clarity of vision when you consider AI. As a writer, I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying use it. Use it properly. Know what it is you're using. And hopefully, we'll all move forward together.